That's what I love about Signature Real Estate Group is that we have amazing agents, but then we have amazing lenders in-house. So really, from A to Z, we got everything covered, right?
Bam.
That's the cool thing. Greetings, Signature Real Estate Group. It's the Studio Spotlight series where we put a spotlight on not an agent today, but a lender that is oh so bright. I'm still working on the intro there, but it'll get better with time, I guess. Today, Susan, who do we have?
We have the wonderful, dynamic, I just call her Cinderella because she looks like Cinderella. If you put a tiara on her, she would be at Disneyland going like this down the crowd.
She does look like a princess.
She does. Miss
That's what
Christina
I'm going to do when I
Eskina
retire.
with New American Funding. And she is one of our in-house lenders, and so I love her.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Nice. Have you ever done anything like this before?
No, I
Yeah.
probably pretty much try to stay away from things like this, but I am stepping outside my box, and yes, so we're determined.
Susan has a way of saying, "Oh, is that your box? Here, let's kick it down."
Yes. Yeah, that's why I hang around her.
Yeah. So I just went to the post office with her, and I'm just standing there minding my own business kind of thing. And then, something was taking a while. And so there's probably like 10 people in the post office.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Hey, everybody, who needs to buy or sell real estate? Because the bald guy in the red tie is right here, and he has a jingle." And then that was my
I sang
my
the
moment.
jingle.
Oh.
I did. I sang it.
Yes. So we take her places like Vegas with us and stuff. It's always to be a sure good time.
We did know everyone at that rooftop bar.
Yes, we did.
Yes,
we took pictures with all sorts of other people we didn't know. With, I think, gang signs or something. On one
Oh,
of them.
jeez. Does Signature have a gang sign?
No.
No, it was their gang sign.
No,
we
it
just
was
joined
them.
in for
Yeah.
some reason.
Okay.
Yeah. We were on the roof. The roof was on fire.
Yeah. So you're just a party wherever you go.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Aw. I was very quiet, shy, and timid. I go do fun stuff with her. She makes me be alive.
Yeah.
Like, this is my person that ever since Lisa Osterloh said, "Okay, you guys, you go be friends," then I just followed her direction. And so we go do stuff together. She makes me do massages and pedicures and manicures and be holistic and go to Vegas and
San
you-
Diego.
and San Diego. She makes me
She shows
be
you
a
how to live
girl
your best
and be
life.
alive. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
So how long have you guys known each other?
How long has it
No,
been?
I don't know, good probably 8 years or something.
Yeah.
It's just developed over the last few years a little bit.
Yeah.
More so.
Yeah.
Blossomed. And so how long have you been here at Signature Real Estate Group?
That's probably been about time since you opened here.
Oh, yeah, because she
I
was with us
already
with Exit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a little bit.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. But your career in lending didn't start a few years ago. It actually goes back quite a while from what I understand. So how did you get into the whole lending process of things?
It was about 1992. I think it's about 27 years ago. And walked in just for a receptionist job and wasn't looking for a career or anything, just something different than I had left the market industry. And I wanted something a little more stable, and so took on for a receptionist job and had no idea what I was getting into. And I think people either run out the door screaming like you guys are all nuts in our world, or they're like, I got this. And I loved the whole learning and the fast pace and quick thinking and outside the box thinking. And so that's what I think I took to, and then just wanted to learn more and did.
That's awesome. And so you've been doing this for almost 30 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
You don't look like you're old enough to be
It's all
doing
I
it for
know.
30
No,
years.
she started when she was 2.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Straight out of the.
It's that whole fighting that aging process. Yeah, we're trying.
Well, because you take care of yourself, so that's why, you look younger.
That's a help.
Is
That's a help.
Is that how it works?
Yes, that's a help.
She
yes.
really does.
Yeah?
She,
I'm-
for real, takes care of herself. To go eat with her means that you will be shamed.
You going to eat that? Yeah. No.
No, she doesn't shame you. You just are self-shamed.
Okay.
Because she makes good choices right there in front of you. Like, she'll pack a lunch.
I'm
And
pretty
it
boring.
will be really healthy. We'll just drive to church, and she'll have, like, a healthy drink, and I'm like, Starbucks. Non-fat skinny latte. What you got there? Protein drink. Okay.
Well, we need these people in our lives.
Yes, we do. We do.
Health and nutrition is super important. Bring you up to your best. You got to feel like it. And so, yeah, I've also made some other things that I've done health-wise that I feel amazing right now.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's a good, healthy girl.
That's awesome. So what's some of the best stuff that you're doing right now for your health?
Well, besides my norm, I actually just went through something that a lot of people don't know about, and it's called breast implant illness. And so had no idea after chasing a lot of doctors and a lot of appointments and spending a lot of money chasing things that it came about in an odd way, but figured out that that's what it would be. And so I was determined and went and had them removed. And I feel amazing getting them done.
Good.
It's given me back. I was losing me, and now I feel like me is here again, and I need to go chase it, and I'm motivated to take on new things. So I'm back at a boot camp. I'm working out 7 days a week. I'm going to go speak on the subject to other women because it's been kept quiet for a long time. Again, bringing me outside my box a little bit. But yeah, I feel like I can take on a lot more. So I'm doing so. I'm kind of looking for all those things that's going to better me.
That's awesome. And so you said boot camp?
Boot camp, yes.
You do that 7 days a week?
Well, I do that 3 days a week. I work out with a trainer with heavy weights for girls, and 3 days a week, and I do hot yoga 1 day a week. So,
Jeez.
That's where all the hot girls go to have yoga.
Jeez, I guess.
So, but the fact that I can do it is amazing because it's been years since I've been able to push myself, and I was always loving the idea of staying active, and I was just feeling, like I said, I was kind of losing myself, but I'm back.
That's awesome. And so how does that translate over into your business? Have you noticed like an increase in your business since, because when you feel better, you do better and you operate?
Absolutely. Well, that and that B word we were talking about earlier, I heard in the meeting about balance, right? So I know it maybe doesn't quite exist there, but I like what I do still, you know. Sometimes you have clients that maybe don't make you like what you do on some days, but there's a lot of them out there that still does. I mean, I love thinking outside the box and the projects, and everybody knows it, so everybody knows I beat a dead horse till it walks again. And so everybody kind of has that idea that if she can't get it done, nobody's going to get it done, and I probably take on more than I should sometimes trying to fix things, but that's what I like about my job is very relationship driven.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking so much to do 50 loans a month, because then I take away what I like, which is I don't get to talk to the clients as much, you know. Even keeping as busy as I am, I'm very blessed. I do more than the average loan officer. However, that relationship and talking to the clients and making them feel at peace and, you know, just getting that warm and fuzzies with them is important. And it's harder and harder these days with the internet, you know, and when they're shopping you and, you know, and they're looking at something like they're saving $15, they're going to go with, you know, Joe Schmo over here, ABC Lending, or, you know, and it's a bad experience. I'm there to give them something different.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad that you're bringing that up because technology is revolutionizing this industry faster than what we even realize. But what I see happening already, though, is the pendulum effect, right? So everyone's like, oh, this is so nice and convenient and all this kind of stuff, but then they lose that personal relational touch kind of thing. And as humans, I think we're very wired for that relational type of, you know, connection with people. And so I'm seeing that it's swinging back the other way. I mean, are you kind of catching some of that?
I agree. I hear a lot of people kind of make those comments. It's, you know, you're looking at those banking type or credit union type of lenders, and at 5, it's too bad that you're having a heart attack over your disclosures at 8. You know, you're going to have to sit on it. It's Friday, you wait till Monday. You know, or maybe not. They know how to explain. You know, a lot of the people that work at banks don't have licenses. They don't have the experience. And we always make a joke and say, you know, they could have been flip and fillet a fish last week, and now they're working on your home loan. So it's unfortunate, and the buyers don't know. They expect that person that's sitting in that seat as a loan officer to be able to do their job and get them into their house, you know, and it doesn't happen that way a lot of the time.
Yeah. And from what I understand about your experience, because you've been doing this for almost 30 years, you've done the whole lending side, the underwriting side. I mean, so you've really dabbled in a lot of that. Can you kind of talk a little bit more about that as far as all your experience?
Yeah, I went, when I started as a receptionist, I quickly wanted to learn more and got to do a loan opening. It was during the early refi boom. And so we were working 60-something hours a week, which was challenging, but at the same time, I learned a lot in a little bit of time from doing that. I mean, I remember there was days we got there at 3 a.m. or didn't leave till 12 when the computers kind of went down and you had no choice but to leave. So, you know, it was long hours, but I was eating it up, you know, and I was young enough still to do that without kids. So, you know, your life flashes before you, but you can do it. And so went from that to, you know, managing a processing team, to learning how to underwrite, became a notary. I started purchasing properties because I could see other people doing it. I'd look at applications and see, you know, what they did, what they made, what they, you know, what they were trying to do. And I decided, you know, why can't I do that? And so then I started buying rental properties and and I was in a marriage for just about 16 years. And then unfortunately we had accumulated probably about 7 properties at the time, and then of course going through a divorce, you have to kind of like, it's just kidding, start all over. And so
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Whoops.
so not only that, it's then I had a
Spouse.
4 and an 8-year-old, so it felt very challenging, because now it's like go take on the world with both your hands tied behind your back. You have no help. You need to take care of these 2 kids, and unfortunately, I mean, if nothing else, I taught them work ethic. But I remember my daughter, one of the first times, Facebook was out there and whatnot, and she was probably early teens, and I all of a sudden see on Facebook that she's announced that it's really sad when you have to make an appointment with your own family member. Well, wasn't sure who she was talking about there. I guess I wasn't getting Mom of the Year award on that year, But I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I grew up, where it was normal to go to a thrift shop, and couldn't afford to go to prom. And I saw how hard my father worked and still didn't have, anything, but very much looked up to him. And so I got my work ethic from him. He worked a lot. And so took it on as a natural. It was just natural for me to do. So whether it's out of scarcity or mindset, it kept me working and trying to play mom and dad at the same time. And so I was one of those moms that all of a sudden you had a break for a minute, and I was the crazy mom that said, okay, gather up the kids on the street, or we're all getting in the car and we're going down to Magic Mountain, or wherever we were going to go. And everybody's looking at me like, are you sure you want to take 6 kids with you by yourself? And I'm like, let's do it, And so when you had those moments, you did it. But I definitely missed out on a lot that I wish I, like a lot of us do, I'm sure, with my girls. But they're both awesome.
How old are the girls?
They are, one just turned 19 on October 1st, and she's in her 2nd year of college. And my other one is going to be 23 in January. Wow. And she's also still in college and also got married last year.
Wow. So you did everything right?
Well, it depends who you ask probably, but.
If I could just get Zach to go out with the 19-year-old, I will have won.
Yeah?
Because then she'd be my in-law.
That would be a good one, right?
Family forever.
I'm like, oh, man.
That's awesome.
I'm just saying. I've tried a couple times. They won't talk to each other. I don't know what that is. I mean, kind of, but not
They're both
really.
kind of shy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach's kind of reserved.
Yeah, very.
I don't know about your daughter, but
she's coming out a little bit better than she compared to when you first met her.
Yes.
Yeah, she's come out a little bit less shy. She's had some changes in her life for the positive. So.
Wow.
Yeah, well, she's dynamic, so she follows her mom's lead, and so what she's going to go be something completely else when she's going to grow up, and she ends up getting into health, and all of a sudden she's doing a fitness show in a swimsuit.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know whose kid that was. She wouldn't even go up and order her own Starbucks, but yet next thing you know, she was in a bikini painted like a Oompa Loompa and with high heels on a stage, and I was like, wow, okay, I'm taken back a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could get myself to do
Why?
that.
You wear that at home?
Yeah. Nobody wants to see that.
What you doing, Christine? I'm walking around in high heels in my bathing suit, just doing some loans.
Wow. So what do you see going on with the lending industry right now? I mean, it's 2019 right now when we're recording this show. So 10 years ago, the world was a completely different place, and a couple years before that. And with a 30-year career, you've kind of seen these ups and downs and all this kind of craziness. So, we talked a little bit about the technology, but what do you see happening with lending over the next 6 months to a year?
Everything's been, as far as the housing market, I've seen kind of be stable and steady. Guidelines and programs and that sort of thing, definitely more stringent than at times in my past, just because they're trying to avoid, happening what happened previously. So some people complain about that. Other borrowers that call me, they get it. They're like, oh, I know you need that because, and they realize where we've come from and where we don't want to hit again. But there's still a lot of programs out there that are 100% financing. And people get concerned and worried about that with not putting skin in the game. It is more likely that people will walk from the houses as things turn, and eventually they will turn. There's a lot of talk in 2020 about things, coming down and a little more so. But right now, again, I've been blessed. So through the ups and downs, I've kept busy, and you just may have to change your strategy a little bit. But like I said, once you have the relationships with people and you're willing to go up and beyond for people, realtors know that, clients know that. You get your referrals. That's how I get my my next borrowers, through referrals. I don't do a lot of any really marketing or anything like that. It's just word of mouth.
You've probably sold people their homes and their kids' homes.
Yes, well, you get a lot of the "I'm my kids buying," or "I need to
Generational.
help them buy," or that sort of thing. So
Mhm.
you do get that coming around, or how do we strategize? Or they'll realize that they'd like to buy investments, properties in the future, or maybe they'll even talk about building a house, and I'll be like, "Okay, have you thought this through? If that won't cause a divorce, I don't know what will."
Yeah, but you've
Um,
built a house, so you can
but-
tell them what to do
But I built a house, yes,
from the ground up.
yes, and I didn't get divorced till a few more years after that.
So let's open that chapter up. Not the divorce part, but the building a house part.
Let's close that.
Yeah, let's close that
chapter.
chapter. But because I just recently had a client that was kind of, just curious about the process, because people think, oh, I'll just buy some land and build a house on it. What's the big deal? I mean, it's not a big deal, right? But so what were some kind of the hurdles to all that kind of
I
stuff?
think the overall is everything seems to take longer and cost more. So what their plans are, how easy they think it is, it's strenuous. When I did it, I didn't hire a general contractor. So my ex-husband worked in the field, and then I, of course, worked on the lending side of it. So I was the one meeting the contractors. I was the one doing lien releases, paying them, monitoring all that, meeting city inspectors and things, getting them signed off. So I was doing that. Usually people don't realize they're having to pay on a mortgage before the house is built. So you have to pay where you live now and where you have to pay on the stuff that's going on. But they do have easier programs than they used to as well. They have, as a matter of fact, an FHA and a VA kind of a build type of loan too.
Do they really?
Yes,
I didn't
it's
know
just it is a lot to bite off. You have to be you have to realize that ahead of time that it is, and it's not for everybody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the people that were asking me were like first-time home buyers. I'm like, I don't know if this is a good path for you right off the bat here.
Yes, even when it comes to like a rehab loan, a 2 or 3K and stuff, I get worried about with a lot of my clients. If my clients are having a tough time with some of the things as we're going through the loan process, I just kind of cringe when they want to take on too big of a project. They don't realize what they get themselves into, and so I can sometimes read that, or at least give them the pros and cons, and then they sometimes rethink. That they want to do that. Rehabbing is one thing. It's a little bit easier, obviously, than starting and building from the ground up. But you got somebody that's mindset of doing the build. It's not like it can't be done. There's, like I said, programs for definitely will help them along the way.
What is your favorite loan program right now for like a first-time home buyer?
My favorite, it just doesn't, it's not everywhere. It's property-based. And so I like working with USDA loans. Those are 100% financing, no down payment, but yet you don't have any of those seconds and things like that. So that's one of my favorites, but it is property-driven. So some of the cities still that cover it, like Nuevo, parts of Lake Elsinore, parts of Winchester, there are those areas, Romoland, but not your main vicinities, like Menifee was taken away, and so you won't get to do in those areas, so they're less and less. I handle a lot of mountain properties. Half my business comes from up in the San Bernardino Mountains, so that's like Crestline and Lake Arrowhead and Running Springs and Big Bear, all those places.
Is that USDA qualified?
The whole entire mountains is USDA, correct.
Nice. So that's one of your favorite programs?
Yeah, that'd be one of my favorites, yeah. Thinking outside the box, it's just knowing several of them, working for a company that has several to offer. So you have your basics that you stick to most of the time, but when they don't fit, you need an access for private money, you need an access for bank statement only program. You need to offer somebody like, hey, you said you're buying your child a house. Why not put your child on with you? They don't have to necessarily, show on paper they can qualify. You're there to co-sign for them. Now, instead of buying it as an investment property with 20% down and a higher rate, you can go in as a, lower rate, lower down payment, and then they get something on their credit to build.
Ooh.
Ooh, drops the mic.
I need to buy a house, Nash.
All right. Well, that's awesome. So, I've been selling real estate for about 11 years now, but the lending thing is still this jungle because, there's just so many different products out there, loan products and stuff like that. So to the average first-time home buyer that doesn't know anything about it, they're like, what?
It is.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. And some of the first things that it's great when I can feel like a partnership with the realtor that I'm working with, because then they help me keep the client calm, because it is a scary thing. And disclosures that come out, it's one of those triggers for a insane moment where they're freaking out.
Sticker shock?
Yes. And so, those are kind of our time tickers, but they feel like, and I understand, they feel like they're signing their life away if they sign these for us, it's just sign the papers. I promise we're going to work through this and we're going to talk about it and I'm going to explain it. It's going to make sense as we go. But a lot of times you could lose a client if they don't give you the time of day to explain. They are confusing. There's a lot to absorb on that. I always tease that, I've been in this industry this long and I look at the form sometimes and go, what? So I can't imagine somebody that doesn't do that on a regular basis. So I try to preface ahead of time with the client and tell them, okay, you're going to be getting disclosures. And when you do, just know you're not signing your life away. It's just a time ticker for us. We can talk, and go over things so you're less confused. But you're telling them so much, and they're so excited to buy this house that they forget half of what you say.
Yeah.
So I've become very good at calming people down.
Yep. And she says it's only going to cost you your firstborn.
Yeah.
Not the second. You can keep the second.
Second one's always a little nicer. You never know.
Make all your mistakes on the first one.
She's really good at talking people off the ledge.
Yeah.
We've been just somewhere, and the one thing that I love about her is she answers the phone. Like, no matter what, she's answering the phone. Even when I don't want her to answer the phone, she answers the phone. Like, don't take that call!
Exactly.
But that's a gift. You know what I mean? That's a gift. And I think the thing that is so great about you is it's authentic. You genuinely care about people and you want to help people and you're there to make sure that they have their little dreams come true. I love you. I think you're really good at your job. You wouldn't be here if you weren't.
Yeah, I said, I still, on most days, I really love my job. And that is important to me. And it's very nice to get those people that want to build that relationship while you're in the transaction. I mean, some people, they're busy and they could care less, sign here and move on. But there's plenty of couples still out there that really appreciate, and you hear from them years to come. And that's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Do you ever have people that don't ever want to break up with you and you sold a house and they think you're their best friend and you're really not their best friend, but you really did great?
I don't know if I want to talk about that on video.
Sorry, never mind.
And you wish you had time for all of them because there are so many nice people that you would love to hang out with them, or you'd love to be, text buddies or whatnot. And obviously time is thin. And so it does become difficult. I tell people, like maybe you miss a phone call or you miss a text or something, and they'll be like, oh, I couldn't get a hold of her or something, and I'm like, you tried me once. I promise I'm not that person that gets minded about being bugged. I just don't. So I said, I don't care how many times you text me. If you need to remind me because I'm busy, I don't want to not talk to you. I really do want to talk to you, and it might be a little later in the evening or whatnot. Yeah. But
or
I
3
don't.
in the morning. Yeah. Because that's when we end our calls. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, 2:30. Yeah.
But like I said, I love building that relationship with people, and especially the ones that just are really appreciative, and you feel like you're helping their family. And like I said, a lot of times they'll end up calling back when you get that with them. So that's what I love.
I think that's kind of a hard part though. It's because you would, if you could, you would have the time.
Yes.
But you're courting them for 30 to 45 days. And you want to have that professional relationship, and there's just not enough hours in the day. When you're as busy as you are and as successful as you are, they can't all become your best friend.
Yeah, and I know, like most people, it's like I look for, and I maybe now with this newfound energy here, I'd like to find more things to do that I can help out other people, because I realize that when I'm out doing that, that's when you feel your best, and that's what gives you this natural energy that comes from is just being able to do that, and finding ways or finding other people to help you do that. So I'm sure there's much more in my future
so now
for
you
calling
have
to that.
So much more energy. You can go on dates.
Oh boy.
She's single.
Ready to mingle or not so much?
So ready. Kids are older. It's time to get Christine and
new chapters. I just was talking about charity and donating time, not that kind of donating time.
Leave it to Susan to
to bring it a whole different
soil
level.
the waters.
Well,
People
are going to see your pretty face. We might as well, tell them.
I believe there's somebody else over here that's single and also has new chapter and also has 2 grown sons that are even older than mine, and I think probably applies to the same. So a few more tequila shots and late nights out, and who knows, maybe we'll come home with somebody. I don't know.
Gentlemen, if you see these 2 ladies out, you got your hands full.
Okay, so want to know something funny we have in common?
Yes.
We both broke our ankles. Like serious injuries.
Yeah.
The same exact injury, same exact metal.
Oh.
Everything, yes.
Did you snap?
But she was doing something really more adventurous than I was.
Oh, what?
Okay, I'm in Israel, but What were you doing, Christina Eskina?
Let's see.
This energetic
that
herself.
guilt thing that comes about with, as a parent, a single mom especially. My younger daughter was trying to talk me into. She said, "Mom, come out and join us on, on the trampoline." And I'm like, "No, I'm too busy. I got to do this. I got to do that." And it kept with the guilt. And then finally, I said, "Okay, fine. I'll come out there." And for some reason, usually as an adult, you have this little mechanism in your brain that tells you not to do something. Probably.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't working that morning. I'm not sure why, but she was doing these flips. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. I was doing the somersaults. It looked boring. So I was like, so how do you do that? And she said, you just jump a little higher. I said, okay. And I jumped a little higher, and then I did the flip. And then all of a sudden I realized I landed somehow flat on my stomach and looked behind me, and my foot was going the wrong direction.
Oh.
So, and then my leg bone came off of my ankle and was sitting in the front of my foot at the same time. So all I could think about was, wow, it's going to take a minute. Who has time for that, right? And my poor daughter, I'm sure she'll never forget it in her entire life. I think I've damaged her for life now. Poor thing was in a frantic at that point, the oh my God moment, and then was apologizing. Believe that or not, she was like apologizing. I'm so sorry, Mom. I shouldn't have had you do that. No, Mom's silly fault. For doing that. So
how long did it take you to be back to normal?
Not too bad. Now, unlike Susan, she did her left leg, so she could drive. I did my right. And so I know I wasn't that brave. Actually, I stayed down out of driving for probably about 3.5 months, and which was miserable for me. I remember I got so desperate, probably within not even maybe just barely almost a month. I got so desperate, and it was around Christmas time, that I told my daughter to take me to the Menifee Shopping Center in a wheelchair and drop me off. And with that crowd during Christmas, and then I remember coming out of Best Buy and trying to go in between two stores that so happened to have a driveway, like kind of a motion in the cement. And I thought, okay, I can do this. And then I wasn't doing a very good job of it. There were signs of a struggle. So I remember some stranger trying to help me, and the next thing you know, my neighbor was like, what are you doing out here by yourself with your leg up and in pain? And I was like, I had to get out. And he's like, where are you going? Across that parking lot to go get my toes done that are sticking outside of this bandage. And so he's, okay, is it okay if I walk you across the thing before you kill yourself in this holiday traffic? So yeah, so it was tough. I've been working since I was 15, and haven't stopped except for to have 2 babies. And so, trying to settle yourself down to sit was, it was almost unbearable.
Yeah.
You're definitely a highly driven person, aren't you?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Always, I don't like to settle. I like to be the best I can be and stay true to myself. Interesting.
So you have this hard work ethic, you have relational skills off the chart kind of thing. So that sounds like a winning combination.
And she's Cinderella.
Cinderella.
And she takes her dad fishing.
So your dad's still around. That's good.
No,
sorry.
yeah, he passed away
Sorry.
last year. Best man I've ever known. But he has one of those people that wears that strong work ethic and just that genuinely nice to everybody, wanting to help everybody, and always looked up to him as a kid and whatnot. And when we found out he had pancreatic cancer, it was pretty devastating because he had never been sick. Not even high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or anything, and then all of a sudden you're this, and you're like, you must be mistaken. Yeah. But when we found out he had gotten that, and he was going to go through what's called Whipple surgery, which has got to be one of the worst surgeries you ever can imagine, I knew one of his favorite things to do was to go deep sea fishing, and I used to do it when I was a kid with him. I'd be the only girl on the boat, and trying to get the biggest fish in the jackpot, and he would always have an excuse, either not enough money or not enough time. And so I told him, you got 2 weeks before you go on that surgery, I am renting you a boat. So I rented a boat that was going to fit about 30 people on it, and called a bunch of his friends and family and things like that, hoping it wasn't a moment to say goodbye, but at the same time, I knew it needed to happen now. And so we went out there and took everybody out. Everybody had a good time, and as much as I wished I had more memories with him, unfortunately, it was one of the hardest things I've had to go through.
And did you catch the biggest fish that day?
No, we didn't have the best of days. I think I remember we were laughing, and I'm so glad because I'm not a good picture taker. Like, I don't go out and take pictures and I forget, but I managed to get one with him that I now treasure. But I remember saying at the end of the trip, somebody saying, how was your trip? And he's like, oh, it was okay. or whatever. Oh, thanks, Dad. Because he didn't catch that big fish. And he's the bad guy that's there telling you to pull in your reels, and he's still got his reel out there, like, just quietly, but hopefully may catch one more fish, as they get ready to move. So, yes, and his ultimate goal was to be here to walk my daughter down the aisle.
Yeah.
And he held on with everything he had, and went from like about a 6'2", 230-pound man to probably close to about 130 pounds. But he made it there and took everything I had to walk down that aisle, and hand her off to him. And it was ever so sweet.
That's a very beautiful moment in memory.
Yes.
What was his name?
Gus.
Gus? That's a good name.
Yep.
You don't hear Gus anymore.
I like Gus.
That's a good name.
Gus short for Gustavo, but and now my brother, one of my brothers is also named after him, and then they just had a first boy in our family, and his middle name is now also
That's
to follow
awesome.
along suit.
So how many brothers and sisters do you have?
No sisters. I'm the only girl, which probably why I was kind of a tomboy. Always trying to give a challenge. My teachers always loved it. When it came to like dodgeball or whatever. That's all my parents heard was that he just loved to go out there and watch me give them a run for their money. And you're naturally not quite as strong as a boy, but you got to give it your all. And sometimes I would win, so that was also good for the ego. Especially, I think I was trying to do it a lot to make my dad proud. And that so I was pretty close to him. And but yes, I have no sisters and 2 brothers. One is 7 years. He is 12 and a half years younger than me, and one is 5.5 years younger than me. So there's a pretty good size spread.
So you're the middle?
No, I'm the oldest.
Oh, you're the oldest. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Ooh, no pressure there.
The oldest, yeah.
I think there's pressure in the oldest slot.
Well, it's always you should know better. Yeah.
So I've done this before.
Yeah, and I think too from mom's standpoint, I think the boys are just different than girls. It's a little different. I think that's why I wanted 2 boys at first, but like I said, God knows best. Got me 2 girls, and like I said, they've been a blessing in my life. Every time I wanted to throw in the towel or sink a little bit, in life, it was, they didn't ask for this and you need to keep going. So, I need to take care and handle business and give them everything that I, didn't have. All that hard work that my dad taught me, got to put it to good use.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And
I think your dad would be so proud. Just seeing you today and stuff, everything that you're doing.
Yeah, he wasn't a
He's
man
smiling.
of a lot of words. I actually it was kind of an unspoken, you knew he was always going to be there for you, and if I needed anything, he would be there. I remember it was difficult having conversations that sounded like it was a goodbye. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But my brother had a couple heart-to-hearts with him, and I think one of the things that stands out in my head, he said he talked to my father, and he was very concerned not being here for me, that I didn't have anybody, there was no man in my life to take care of me. And my brother's response to him was, Christine, you don't have to worry about Christy, because she's like a dude.
Dude looks like a lady.
And so, and then he looked, and I paused, he's like, that's a compliment. Okay, we'll take
Thanks.
that as a compliment.
And when I call you a girl on a podcast.
Yes, you'll take that as a positive, right? Yes, that, and then it was really, really special. There's been many a moments that I have either been in awe or learned something from Susan, and that's why I keep hanging around. But during that moment, she's so good with people and in bad situations and things like that. And some of the stuff that I couldn't get out. When my daughter's wedding was going on, we had my dad go to like a little cabana that was there so he wouldn't have to leave the facilities. And Susan had been kind enough to go have a chat with him. And I was trying to listen to somebody that was talking to me at the same time, listen to what Susan was saying, and hearing, and just a little thing, since he didn't say a lot, it wasn't towards I'm proud and things like that. It was nice to, when everything happened, that people were coming up to me and how proud your dad was, and how he talked about you, and then I heard him tell Susan is like she's a hustler like me, and so it was those little things you take away, that I was given a little bit more time. with
Yeah.
him.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. He just spoke so highly of her and so proud of her and talking about the memories and when she was little. And he just started telling stories. I was just sitting there and I'm like, I was just sitting there. I got so lucky because I got to spend time with the person who created her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And who saw her through the most brightest light of eyes. And then he expressed all of that to me. And I felt so honored and humbled and lucky to be there in those moments. And the last thing he said is, I don't know if she's going to be okay. You know, she's going to take this pretty hard. You know, would you just make sure she's okay? You know, we just make sure she's okay. And I'm like, no, I won't. No, I'm like, of course, you know. But having that time with him, that was probably the most spectacular, warm thing because it made me understand her so much more. And when you see a parent and then a child and you see the legacy and you've heard the stories and then you see the family dynamics together, wow, it was just really, really cool. She's a good daughter. She gets the good daughter award.
I was blessed. I mean, as much as you have to try to take any positive or what you're supposed to take away, you know, there's a meaning behind it. You know, God intended, and it feels unfair that you got gypped. But at the same time, I had to look at it the other light and go, gosh, there's so many people that just don't have fathers at all or not half
Yeah.
as good as mine.
Yeah.
And so I got my father for he's around for 66 years. So many people got to experience him, you know, and I wanted to be just like him. So yeah.
And she's being all humble and stuff, but the truth is she talks me off the ledges because I will go up to the ledge. Okay, ledge, I dance with you. I jump. And she is really powerful in her gifts to make sure that I don't jump off the ledge. And it's nice to have a powerful woman, an independent entrepreneur, another person who's like-minded, who works, you know, we just work. And I'm single mom, 2 boys. She got the girls. I confess I wanted girls. I'm so glad I got boys. I don't know what I'd do. What would I have done with girls? You know, decorate them? What do you do with girls? I don't know. Like dirt bikes, I know.
Yeah.
I know you know, punch each other. You slap the dog around. You know, you talk about burps, fart, and poop. That's all I
about
know.
it.
But she is a dynamic person on the inside, and she always reminds me. It's nice to have a safe place to fall.
Yeah.
And she's one of my safe places, and she will pick me right back up. She doesn't leave me down. And
It's
so
incredible.
she's a
you
dynamic,
guys are-
woman here.
You guys are a dynamic duo together, sounds like.
The double D's.
The double D's.
Fun. I miss
Well,
her
not
because
anymore.
she's broken right now. She's broken, and I keep asking her, when do I get some more Susan time? And she's still broke.
I'm like, yeah, I'm at Nash's house. She don't really want to come over here. Trust me. Unless you want to play, what are the games they play now?
Xbox, I don't know.
And then we watch streaming games. You know, on the weekends we do a lot of motocross stuff. I love that.
Yeah.
I will sit and watch motocross all the time. I love the motorcycles, love the stories, love the kids. Like to cheer that on. But the rest of the burping and farting and pooping, I don't
You
know if
don't
I'm
want to
gonna
share with your
bring-
friends? We're that close, though. I don't know.
I mean, your girls don't do it when I come over, so I'm thinking, I don't know.
Yeah, they give
A
your
fair
boys a run
trade.
for their money, I'm sure, in more than one way.
What would you say is the most important lesson that your dad taught you?
Goodness gracious, there are probably so many of them. It's hard to depict.
Pick one out.
It's. I guess maybe what I learned, and not even purposely, but being genuine. You know, when you meaning what you say. You know, say what you mean, kind of thing. Being heartfelt. You know, and doing the right thing when maybe others around you aren't doing the right thing. It doesn't mean you need to come back and have your standards lowered to, you know, to hit somebody back per se. So I think just being just genuinely him, that's what I heard a lot too when friends and stuff had come after the services and whatnot, is just how he was trying to teach them and help them and not getting anything out of it. And I think that just genuine, humble kind of person is probably one of the biggest things I took from him.
That's awesome. That's pretty
And she
dynamic.
got his good looks.
Was he a handsome guy?
Yeah. Only
And
on
that's
the
your
female
handsome, but-
side.
Yes, we looked quite a bit alike. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he was pretty.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Pretty man?
He was.
That's awesome. What do you think heaven's going to be like?
Oh, I think heaven's going to be like way beyond anything I can possibly imagine. I'm sure it's just a moment of being in awe, you know, and then having all of these pains and things that we have to do and challenges that we have to figure out how to live with, you know, all gone. and just being with family and friends, and again, not having to deal with that anymore.
The reason I asked that is I lost my mom to cancer when I was 16, so she was 38. And so I've, for over 20 years, been thinking about that. And, you know, you lost somebody that you loved dearly. And so I like to think about what are those first moments in heaven going to be like. And I always tell my kids, if I go, which I assume I'll go before them, I say, come meet me by the tree. So I don't know what tree it is, but I just tell them, hey, come meet me by the tree. So
Dad,
God,
it's a forest! What were you thinking?
That tree.
Well, I just tell them to meet me by the tree because I love trees and I like to explain life by a tree and stuff like that. So, but I hope that my mom's there under the tree waiting for me. So,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be really fun.
Yes.
I think it's harder for us on this side of it.
For sure.
But I think when they get on that side, they're like, "Oh, that was it? Oh man, what was I so worried about?" You know what I mean? And so it's just I heard it's not the end of a story; it's the beginning of the sequel.
Ooh, I like
The
it.
eternal sequel.
I like
Never
it.
ends.
And maybe our guardian angel up there watching over us as we're still here, dealing with the day-to-day.
Yeah.
The guardian angel, like, okay, finally I can be off duty. Jeez, that was a rough one.
Work.
Yeah, I be done now. Jeez.
Didn't you read that part?
Yeah,
Don't worry.
it's like reading disclosures.
Yeah.
No, just don't understand it.
Sign here. You're an angel now. Go.
Right?
Protect someone.
I always picture my mom and dad being there and being able to run and just hug them. And every once in a while, I have dreams, and I will fall asleep before I go to sleep, and I'm like, please, God, could I see my mom today? And then, you know, fall asleep and wake up and like, my mom was there. It was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can hardly wait to see the people who have gone before us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
And you know, like the song says, I can only imagine.
Gosh, did you see that movie? It was so good.
Yeah, I got teary-eyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes you want to forgive and love and have unconditional acceptance of humanity and the flaws.
Yeah.
And just to move forward in grace.
Yep.
Boy, just powerful
And
message.
all these things in life just kind of remind you too of how short it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and being the oldest one in the room, it's getting shorter and shorter. So she's exactly 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Right? And so I pretend I'm smarter than her, but I'm really not. Yes. But I try to pretend I am. I'm like, okay, I'm 58. I thought I'd be dead by now, if I'm totally honest. When I was 20, I thought like 58 was, you know,
Senior,
grandma, old people.
Old homes.
Yeah, but now I'm finding out it's
Yeah,
not.
not so
But
bad.
I would love to be her age. If I could go back, I would not take that time for granted. So I think my message always to these guys is, those younger is, you know, well, I won't say what it normally
I
is.
know what's going on in my head right
Yeah.
now, but we're gonna. Yeah.
I'm not going to say that out loud, but everyone who knows me knows what I'm thinking. It's just that live life to the fullest, enjoy and embrace who you are, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, and be the best version of yourself every single day. And don't take for granted the time. Live it. Yeah, just live it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's a powerful, wonderful place to leave off for this episode of the Spotlight series here at Signature Studios. Christine, thank you so much. It was wonderful getting to know you. I've seen you in the office, but that's why I love the show, is that we get to sit down and not look at our phones, and we can actually just sit here and talk and get to know about your life and your dad. And you sound like a very dynamic human being. So
Thank you.
I'm glad that people like you exist in this industry, because sometimes this industry doesn't have the brightest of people and stuff like that. So I'm glad that we came across a sparkling gem.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Absolutely. I'm glad to be a part of this. I'm glad to be a part of Signature Real Estate. And Susan is one of my best friends. And so we definitely can add to each other's life. And I've, like I said, learning a lot from her.
That's awesome. Final thoughts?
I just want to thank you for being here, for coming alongside me as a professional, personally, spiritually, and holding me to a higher standard of excellence all the time. There's always the days where it might not be my strongest day, and when that is there, you're always the strongest for me. And so I'm so thankful for your friendship, and I'm so thankful professionally that you're here, because I want to build something of integrity, and it's who you are. Just authentically and naturally. So thank you, Christina Eskina.
You're welcome. Thank you for being in my life. God, you put there for a reason.
I'm going to cry. And now I'm crying.
Like to end every show with tears. That's it for this episode of the Signature Studio Spotlight Series with Christina Eskina and Miss Susan Ebert and your favorite long-haired hippie, John Butler, the bald guy in the red tie, saying see you in escrow. Bye-bye.